And we're live. Hello, everybody. This is Jonathan, the Passive Income Guy. And today I have a guest, Mr. Al-Qasim Al-Obedi from the project AMBO Pipeline. Today we're going to discuss with him the AMBO Pipeline project. How do you mix oil, pipelines, crypto, NFTs, and what the hell those things do together? So everything we're going to tell you, obviously, today is not financial advice. You have to do your own research. We're just there to provide you with education. And feel free during the live to ask questions in the chat, and then we'll try to answer them as we go. And without further ado, Mr. Al-Qasim, would you mind introducing yourself to the team here?
Yeah, absolutely. How are you doing?
Good, you?
Very good. My role is the CSO at AMBO Pipeline Limited, and we are an oil pipeline company that transports oil in Europe through 3 countries. And we are trying to see if the blockchain is ready for companies to begin transitioning over. We're not ready at 100% level to operate entirely on the blockchain. And I don't think the blockchain is ready for projects of this size to be 100% on there. And this is why what we're doing is a proof of concept to have companies begin their transition over to the blockchain. And that's kind of how we're approaching it.
Awesome. And so do you mind talking to us maybe about the pipeline, what it is exactly, where it's located,
Yeah,
and
of course.
what does it do?
Yeah.
Let's do a little bit of geography here.
Yeah. So if you keep going,
there you go.
We're going to start in Burgas, Bulgaria, and then we will go all the way to Vlora, Albania. It's about 815 kilometers long, and our capacity is 900,000 barrels per day. The pricing we're looking to charge per barrel is around $2 to $2.50 per barrel. So at maximum capacity, we're looking between $1.8 to $2.25 million per day of revenue. And the goal of our pipeline is to avoid the Turkish Straits. So the Turkish Straits, if you zoom in closer to Istanbul, there's the Bosporus Strait. Yeah, that little tiny bit of water. The Bosporus Strait is half a mile wide, and it's the narrowest strait in the world. And then if you go down further left in the water, there's the Dardanelles, which is kind of like the exit of the water body. Now, yeah, you have to zoom out more.
Oh.
Keep going. And then bottom left, you see the
exit.
Yep.
Yeah,
so that exit is the Dardanelles. And this is that entire area currently. The ships will go from Bulgaria, and they will go kind of make a cusp all the way to the other side of Albania. And that's how the oil currently gets transported. And that's why it generally takes 3 to 4 days at the moment. The pipeline will reduce the shipping congestion. It will make everything cheaper, and it will also heavily reduce the chances of spills. That's in a very high, simple explanation. That's
who are the suppliers and the customers of the oil?
So our customers and suppliers are really the same thing, because the customer is an oil transportation company. And what we offer them is a more efficient and cheaper alternative to transporting the oil from the Black Sea all the way across to the Albanian side.
Got it. Okay. So basically your solution is to, reduce the traffic there and delays that are caused because of the congestion there. And so you can deliver it more efficiently.
Absolutely. And it's not just the congestion gets worse with bad weather. So if there's a storm, if there's uneasy weather, it's immediately a few days of an extra delay. And generally bad weather with congestion means that some ships might collide, and it has often happened in the past. And then if there's any sort of political unrest, it just makes things 100 times worse.
Got it. Okay. So when you look online, there's some articles about the AMBO pipeline, which is Albania, Macedonia, Bulgaria oil pipeline, right? That's the acronym.
Yes. Yep.
And, it states that it was proposed in 1993, and then somehow it stopped, and now it's resuscitating. Can you walk us through the history of all that and what's going on and why it's coming back?
Yeah, of course. So it took 10 years just for the oil pipeline to really get put on paper. And then it took 3 additional years, so 2007, for everything to be signed and written into law. So 2004, basically, they got to the agreement on negotiations of how much tariffs each country is going to get, what kind of, what do you want to call it? what kind of throughput they want to put through, and just really how much each country is going to get and what kind of things that needed to be met in order for that to happen. 2007, the tripartite was signed, which means the AMBO pipeline was written into law, and it's now legislation. So there is, all the formalities have been completed, which means, all the tough negotiations and dealing with 3 Eastern European countries do take a long time, and that's why it was 10 years working with TED, like TED working with the 3 nations.
Yeah.
It was finally able to happen. And then because it was signed in 2007, there's a lot of funding issues during that time because of the market, the financial crisis across the world, and kind of it stayed in that unsure phase. They were able to get money. So one of the biggest funders was the Export-Import Bank of the US. And they were willing to finance 75%. So AMBO still needed to come up with $400 million for everybody to agree to give AMBO $400 million at that time. And that was obviously tough for a number of years. And then 2019, they were able to really start cranking out, what do you want to call them, pledges at that point, and really interest in starting to fund the project again. Because of the time difference, the price of the building the pipeline has increased. So we are now looking at 2 billion instead of like 1.4 back in the day, which means AMBO needs to raise $500 million. As of early 2022, we were able to get pre-approved for the full project funding. And then last month, so early October, we were able to get pre-approved for the first operating line of credit, which is really the one that we need the most in order for us to move to the next step of getting the full funding. Because in both, in both funding phases, each of them requires a collateral. The current collateral for our line of credit is the rights of the company and everything the company owns. That really gets us into the $500 million line of credit. And then the full project funding requires $500 million in collateral. So we are utilizing our line of credit to pay as a collateral. And then when we get the full project funding, it pays off the line of credit, and then we use the rest to build the whole project. So we are leveraging, two phases in order to get the full project funding, which is really nice because there's not a lot of parties involved, and we are working the same loan facilitator. So it's nice. We're not going out dealing with multiple different moving pieces. It's really one broker that's utilizing their network.
Okay. Oh, thanks for this. And so since it's a pipeline that is built in the Balkan region, like what
Yes.
are the countries that are issuing the loans?
So
Like
the loans
in
are,
which state? Yeah.
yeah, of course. So right now, in the past, the reason for Exim Bank wanting to finance up to 75% of the project was because it was going to be utilizing everything that was American. So the steel was going to be American. The project management was going to be American, basically,
Right.
even the workers. And that's why they wanted to fund it.
Got it.
Earlier this year, we got private funding, which means we are no longer tied to a country or a bank. It's really, a private financing firm that deals with this size of infrastructure projects. We were able to get them. So now we are looking at using Worley, which is an engineering firm from Australia. They're going to be the ones that do the project management, which means they be taking care of the,
Those
any
guys, right?
variations. Yes, any
Yeah.
variations in the route. They will be in charge of hiring everybody from along the route. Basically, A to Z project management. Very simple. And that's why we're able to change, is because of the private funding. It's not
Got it.
coming from either nation. However, for them, it's in their interest because we pay taxes for every barrel that goes through each country.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like, if you operate in a country, you're going to have to pay tariffs. So those were a part of the negotiations that TED had to go through.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. So can you talk a little bit about the team basically that is on the website? What are their roles and responsibilities, and then
Yeah,
how
of
they
course.
interface with your project?
Yeah, so as I previously mentioned, there's AMBO LLC, which is the original AMBO company, and then there's the AMBO Pipeline Limited, we are going to buy out AMBO LLC and close it down, and then Ted is going to be transferring over. It's a handoff or a handover deal. So he's going to become the CEO. Well, he's currently CEO and president of AMBO LLC.
Yeah.
And then once that gets closed, he is going to be officially CEO of AMBO Pipeline Limited as a salaried position. And then William is getting ready to be onboarded. So he is aware of everything. He's been a part of the project for a really long time. However, we're the ones with the funding. And we no longer need the US side for stuff. So that's why we're buying it out and taking out, the remaining shareholders at that point.
Got it.
And then myself, which is the reason why the blockchain is actually getting associated with everything. And what we're doing with the blockchain is we want to put a proof of concept that the blockchain, what they call it, fractionalized ownership. That's the proof of concept that we have in the future. Now, I did make some changes for the website. Things like, for this weekend, we are doing over-the-counter NFT sales for whitelisted addresses. And there's multiple benefits to being a whitelist. If anybody's interested in it, they can take a look at the Discord. But to go back to the blockchain side, my goal was to get traditional businesses to start looking at the blockchain more seriously. And our goal is to raise $5 million. What that $5 million is going to do, it's really going to activate the lines of credit that we have pre-approved for. So right now, the next step for us is to complete due diligence. Excuse me.
Right.
Once due diligence is completed, we start getting funding within 90 days. In our contract with our loan facilitator, they'll be the ones that pays out AMBO LLC immediately. And that way we can close it. Doing it that way, there is less variability for anybody that's reading about our project, wants to participate in our project, wondering where the money might go or if there's any bad intent, really. It's kind of like if you refinance your mortgage, your lawyer will take care of all the payments that you have for like outstanding debt, just so your lender feels more comfortable. And these are the things that we're going through, is to make sure there's no question about where the funds are going. To give you an idea, our line of credit contract, it clearly says that we can only use this money for operations, for building the pipeline, for things that like are already in our business plan. And since we get the money every month, they take a look at what we spent every single month. And then if they see, oh, you spent $1 million buying a car, that's not a business expense. Like, we will get penalized for it and we might lose the entire funding. So that is the level of like accountability that we have. Everything's written into our contract of how we can use our money. And then obviously the goal at the end of the day is we have everything completed in principle. All the pre-approvals are there. Our main goal is to make sure the oil pipeline operates. Because once it operates, we're making, I think it's $94,000 an hour of revenue. Wow. It is giant. It's substantial, right? So our $5 million goal is really like, probably about 60 hours of operation. Right. Once the pipeline's up and running. So it's a very small figure for proof of concept. However, it really covers basically getting everything activated over the next 60 days. And if we don't hit, 5 million is a nice target for us. But if basically anything over, I want to say 2 million, it means we will be strongly considering the blockchain for at least, 10% of our operations. Because what happens is we have a second and a third pipeline in the plans, and those 3 pipelines will complete the entire route. And that's what we want to do. So AMBO itself is 1/3 of the route, and then the 2 other pipelines are on the eastern side. So like Kazakhstan side, that's where the oil is coming from, and we want to do the entire route.
Got it.
So if you go a little bit to the right, it'll be on the Kazakhstan side.
Yeah.
And that's where the oil comes from, like Caspian side kind of thing. Yeah. So they go from all the way from the eastern side, and AMBO will help oil get to the western side of Europe and also United States. That's the point of our project. Yeah. So that's why
So
the
it's
blockchain is being involved. It's really to see, also, just as importantly, it after going through everything and making the proposal to the directors, I genuinely believe even during this crap market, you can raise money faster and cheaper on the blockchain, excuse me, than you can right now on a traditional, like on a fiat side. Actually,
right.
especially in a bad market.
Yeah.
The right now, in order for you to do an like unsecured short-term loan, the fees associated with it are like astounding. I think we were needing to put up something along the lines of 60%, 50 to 60%, I believe it was, over less than 6 months, basically. And then it would have still taken a few months to get all the paperwork in place, the legal, and making sure like the lender in that scenario actually has the funds available and like liquidly available. And that's when I was just like, hey, let's go to the blockchain. We will offer the same terms. Because at first, I made my proposal to the directors at 100% payback plus 20% per year moving forward. And then they're like, okay, well, everything's moving really well. The pre-approvals are already in place. Like, we need to make sure we hit our targets. I'm like, all right, we can crank up the numbers to match what we were going to pay like a traditional lender, which was the 150% level. And that's why I'm like, okay, let's put an incentive scale in place. We'll do 125%. And then for every million, we add another 5% with a cap at 5 million, because obviously we don't have a money printing machine. We have a budget we have to stick to.
Yep. Oh, got it. No, thanks. And we're going to break down the tokenomics because I know it could be confusing for some people. But first, before let's take a step back. And you said you want to introduce the concept of blockchain on part of like those real physical projects
Yes.
of utilities. Like, what is your background in crypto, and how did you come up with this idea? I guess to make some
Sure.
money.
I've been around since 2017, 2018, and I've got an accounting degree. So this is like the mashup of both of my worlds. And I enjoy creative financing. So this is where everything really happened. And then our NFTs, we're using them kind of as a financing tool. It's not an investment. It's not an equity tool, because if we go down and say these NFTs will be like partial equity, partial revenue share, we go down the securities route.
Yep.
And we're definitely not doing that. It's not investment. Like, I'm very clear about it on the website. And we needed to get like all kinds of approvals for it just to make sure it's clear enough. However, if we do hit 5 million, it means pipeline number 2 and pipeline number 3 we can allocate the funding and the legal time to make sure that structure is done correctly, and we can do profit share for pipeline number 2 and number 3, as well as the proportional equity. This is the important part, is I don't want to go down the profit share and equity route if we don't have a proper legal structure in place.
Yeah.
Because then if we do it and we do it wrong, then a lot of people are going to get punished for a silly mistake.
Yeah. Okay. So in the concept of the first pipeline, then you're using the blockchain and then basically a raise through the NFT process, let's call that.
Correct.
To pay for due diligence, legal fees, that kind of stuff, to see to gauge interest, right?
Yeah. And if it all fails, if we go through everything, basically what's going to happen is we're going to refund people the remaining amount. So we're going to pay for due diligence. Well, a part of our commitment fees is our lender is paying for due diligence. Let's say something happens and the project gets a red light, it's no longer moving forward. The funds will go back on chain, and then they will get redistributed back proportionally. Okay. So that's like very, very worst case scenario. However, that's like, if this project were to fail, it would have failed at the feasibility study. So there's 3 phases to our project. Phase number 1 is a feasibility study, which was done by the US government. It's to make sure the project makes sense and it's like economically viable.
Right.
So that was completed. It got a really nice green check mark. Phase number 2 is coming up now, which is going to be the environmental and social study, and that takes 12 months. It's to make sure that our route, there are no environmental changes. There's no new endangered species along the route because we are alongside the highway, that entire area. It's called Corridor 8. So that's where the pipeline is running. And we just want to make sure before we build, there's no endangered species, there's no negative impacts on where we're going, like where we're digging and we're putting the pipeline. Mm-hmm. And then it's 24 months to build the pipeline. We're looking at approximately 6,000 people. So yeah, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of people.
Yep. Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so basically a 36-month project. So let's, we start to have a lot of questions relative to the NFTs, the amount, the gas fees, all that stuff. So before we're going to take those questions, but can you walk us through the tokenomics of the raise with the NFTs?
Yes. If you go under the about, perfect, you already got it ready. So right now, up until Monday, we're doing over-the-counter whitelist. What the whitelists get is first dibs, so you get the first serial number NFTs, and you will also be the first ones to access liquidity in 6 months from now. And I'll explain why that's important in a few seconds. That's whitelisting at the moment. On Monday, it's going to be the public launch where anybody can pick up an NFT, and we are going to be open until the 31st of November. This is time limited as opposed to supply limited, because we really want to give people the option to participate in the way they want to. And we figured how to do that on our level by doing level 1 to level 8, basically NFTs. They start at $250 and then they go all the way to 250,000. This lets you participate if you are a smaller holder or a bigger holder. And you don't get penalized for which tier you choose. So every tier gets the same percentage rewards. Right. That's the main goal, and that's how fractionalized participation should work, right? And that's our goal. Okay. And in order for us to make it worthwhile for people to take part, is in 6 months from now, we're going to pay back at least 125% worth in AMBO tokens. So the AMBO tokens will be backed dollar for dollar through our budgeted interest portion, really. So a part of our funding goes towards interest, financing fees, everything that's related that we have to spend on making sure we raise money and pay back all the interest associated. That's where that 6 months backing comes from. Now, the AMBO, like I said, the AMBO tokens will be backed 1-to-1. Like one AMBO token is one stablecoin, and we're going to do a private marketplace in 6 months. The reason why it's a private marketplace is you will go there and you'll be able to exchange an AMBO token for a stablecoin of your choice. There will be 4 tokens in total. One is AMBO, then USDC, USDT, and DAI, and these will be on the Ethereum network. Just to give you an idea. And then we're going to pay 20% APR on the anniversary date. The interest will be perpetual. So like you can, if you have a 250,000 NFT, you can actually watch your interest go up by the second. Where if you have a $250 one, it's going to take longer to watch your interest rewards rack up. Excuse me. You can cash those out at any time. There's no lockup period. You basically go to the private marketplace, exchange them, you get the equivalent stablecoins. So it's very, very simple. We're not doing any form of lockups. If you mint the NFT and you feel like you don't want to sit and wait for 6 months, you can sell it. It's not a locked NFT. It's tradable. You can sell it to whoever you want. So that's and we're doing at least 3 years of 20%. Once we're up and running, we would like to increase that 20%. And it's really going to come down to how is our revenue looking and what our profit is like.
Got it. Okay. And I know some people have some questions related to like all those like paybacks, etc. Just yes. I'll put in the description a calculator that I did here.
Yes, and we verified the calculator with John just to make sure that it is working. Like the numbers are correct. There is no confusion on it, and happy to say that.
Yep. No. So you can just put your NFTs that you want. It will show your investment, and then there was also some bonus added to the numbers of millions of dollars you're going to raise through the NFT that increases also every 5%, right? Up
That's
to
correct.
5 million. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And it will show you guys, the earnings due to the APR, the 6 months payback, bonus ROI,
Yep.
and then with the million raise, so you can see how much you're going to earn. Like for 5,000, it's like 10,000 at the end of the 36 months.
Yeah.
So I'll put
So
the link in
I
the
just want to
description.
be very clear. We are paying in AMBO tokens.
AMBO
This
tokens,
is, we're not guaranteeing some form of a return with a dollar.
right.
This is a business at the end of the day. It carries risks. And I just want to be clear about it. If you're going to participate, make sure you do your due diligence on us, do due diligence on the company. We're KYC'd, which means we've been KYC'd by the UK government, which means our passport, our driver's license, our faces have been basically saved under the UK government, and that it's a form of accountability for us.
Yep.
So I'm just being very clear and upfront on everything. Do your due diligence on any project you participate in. If this is for you, we're happy to have you on board. If this is not for you, maybe next time. It's no big deal on our end. Yeah.
Not financial advice for sure.
Yeah.
And so can you talk about how you're going to add the liquidity to the private marketplace to allow the swap of one-to-one with AMBO tokens?
Yes, absolutely. So we're giving ourselves a 3-month buffer. Our funding starts in 3 months, but we are opening the private marketplace in 6 months. And that is simply just to give ourselves a buffer to make sure we have enough liquidity flowing into it. Because at the end of the day, that is where, for you as an investor, you need to see you need to have access to the liquidity. And we're going to feed liquidity into it either daily or weekly. And it's going to be at a steady pace that keeps up with the swapping, basically. And that money is going to come from our funding. That's why I'm saying it takes us 3 months to start getting funding, but we are doing 6 months, 180 days to open up the liquidity. It's just to make sure we have the liquidity that we need for everybody to claim at the same time.
Okay.
And here's the risk. Yes. Here's the risk disclaimer is the risk in this case is time. Is let's say we do the first batch of like $1 million of liquidity and it gets eaten up in 3 days. It's going to be another week to get another million of liquidity. That's how we're doing it, because at the end of the day, we do need to onboard it steadily and make sure that everyone's getting money. And this is why being a whitelist is important. If you hop on the Discord right now, say you're from the Passive Income Guy YouTube AMA, we'll give you a whitelist and you have until Monday to exercise your whitelist. If you pick up an NFT during public sale, it's not going to be considered whitelist. Okay? Full transparency.
Wow. Thanks for the people listening.
No problem.
We have some questions coming with the audits. Like, who did your audit?
We don't have an audit in place, but we will have Certic do an audit. However, an audit doesn't do anything for us. We have a token that's internal, which means if you hold it, you can exchange it for a stable coin. There is no audit there. In terms of NFT, it's a smart contract that we're actually adding multiple layers of security. So an audit is, honestly, for our project, it's a waste of money. However, we're still going to do it because I know people in the blockchain space like to see an audit has been completed. And honestly, we're doing this simply for a vote of confidence.
Yeah, I think it's more about the smart contracts, making sure there's no holes or stuff like this, right?
So we've had multiple groups look at our smart contract, because in order for you to take part, and let's say if you take part in the Cryptonaires group, if you want to be onboarded by them, they do an internal audit on your project and on your smart contract. For example, we went through that a few days ago, where we have another event with them happening this week. Those are the things we're going, and we're not scared to share the code of our smart contract. Like anybody that has asked for it, to say we have a big community, I don't know, let's say there's a community with 20,000 people, and they go, in order for you to be a partner with us, we need to have our auditor look at your smart contract. Yeah, no problem. Here you go.
Yep.
There's definitely nothing going on there.
Got it. We have another question just to clarify. Sorry if I missed this, but will returns be ended after 36 months time frame, or if you continue to hold NFT, you will continue to receive returns for the life?
It is for life of the project. We are looking to operate minimum of 30 to 35 years. So minimum 30 to 35 years. You can sell your NFT at any time.
Right. So OpenSea typically, right, very popular on the Ethereum blockchain. Yep. Okay. Let's see if there's other questions. Okay. So quick question about, now that we went through like the tokenomics a little bit and the rewards. Any plans partnership on the blockchain?
Yeah, we have multiple partnerships happening in place right now, and those partnerships will continue to roll even after the NFT mint stops, because our goal is to keep going. Nothing personal. Insert by this even people list. Yeah. So sorry, somebody just sent me a question. We want to make sure whitelisting takes advantage of their roles. You know, there's no sense of me offering a whitelist let's guarantee online. No, it's still the same guarantee. Well, there's no guarantee. Yes. Sorry, I'm
Only
reading questions from
probabilities.
like two different. Yeah, I'm reading questions from two different areas. The goal is for people to exercise their whitelist. You know, generally you have a pre-sale. If you don't participate in the pre-sale, you are now, you know, participating at a public sale level. You don't get the same benefits from the beginning. And I'm sticking to that. The whitelist. If you're a whitelist, use your whitelist. You'll get the benefits. If you don't use your whitelist, it's not the same benefits. So.
Yep. So you talk about partnership. You have
Yes.
like some that you can share with us?
Yeah. So all of our partnerships will be placed in our Discord, and they'll also be publicized. Right now, we have like our main partnerships are really Insurify, Delta Finance, which is getting their name is getting changed to Nova Protocol. Warfi, who's helping us a ton with networking and marketing. There's a few more that will be getting publicized. Those will go like under our announcement channel. So
yep, got it.
Definitely, okay. Yeah. And then they will continue to roll in. So even when our NFT mint stops, I really want to be clear about this. We're going to keep pursuing partnerships because it really just solidifies and increases the strength of our project.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Is there any plan on your roadmap to have the AMBO token, I don't know, paired with something else in a liquidity pool or whatnot?
It is on our board for discussions.
Okay.
But for now, for at least the first 6 months, it's not going to happen. If somebody wants to make their own liquidity pool, that's completely up to them.
Of course.
But for the first 6 months, we want to guarantee our backing. That's it. Like
yeah.
Anything outside of that, I don't control. I'm not promising. I'm just saying we want to back this dollar for dollar for the exchange side, and that's going to take 6 months. I want to be very clear. Yeah.
Okay. And a quick question also, like this project is on the Ethereum blockchain. Any reason why Ethereum and not something else?
Yes. So because Ethereum went proof of stake, 2 months ago now, the fees are very reasonable. So we're doing things for under $1 at the moment. Like last night, it was giving me warnings saying like the network is busy. And then I was like, oh Lord, I looked at the fees. And
$90.
Yeah, flashbacks from the past. But then I was looking at the fees and it was $1.09. I was like, oh, okay, approved. Like, and this is why we're sticking to Ethereum, and it's also the biggest space for NFT whales. If you want a representation, the best representation for proof of concept, go where the money is, and this is where we are.
Got it. Okay, we have another question that popped in. Okay, what's the link to the Discord? I think we can...
discord.gg/AMBO.
Yeah, let me put it in the chat. And then another question, on your website, you have a company reg number, which we can look up in the UK House of Companies. Can we somehow
Companies House?
Yeah.
No, your website is actually the official one. 1 year, what should we look up? UK House of Companies. Can we confirm some of that? Your site is actually the official one. Yes, my name is on there, and also Justin Collins, who's the majority shareholder. I'm not sure what other I KYC'd through company's house, and so did Justin, and that's why our corporate registration is on the website. And also, if you look up the details of the website, Justin owns the website.
Okay. I'll just put the Discord here in the live chat for folks. All right, and okay, so there was a question, but I don't think there's anything. Can you let us know how much has been raised currently?
Yes,
through the NFTs. Through the NFTs.
Through the NFTs, just for the over-the-counter sales, in about 6 hours last night, we did 20K, and then we have our big investors. They'll be rolling in this week, so we have a lot of exciting things happening as of Monday, and then we have some overseas parties that are really interested. If it plays out, we are looking to at least hit 2.5 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me check out. Yeah. So it's a follow-up on the company thing. So you don't just list the company number on your website without you actually
I'm
having...
a director. Yeah. I am a director if you look up the company.
Yeah. Okay. I think... Yes. So we cleared some of the questions there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about a couple more questions that I have for you.
Yeah.
So what do you think would make this project fail?
Honestly, time. If we run into hurdles, or we magically run out of oil in the next 6 months, there's no reason for this project to fail because of the efficiencies it puts into place. Unless that region of the world no longer needs oil, then this project would fail. That's...
Are you scared about the economic slowdown across the world, and potentially less economic activities means, probably less congestion in the Bosphorus Straits, or maybe not economically viable?
Yeah, for us it's fine. Even if we operate at 20%, I think 25% of capacity, we're still profitable. So really, economic times, they might hurt the revenue, but we will still be a profitable company. We're still in efficiency, and actually, it's more of a case to use a pipeline than a ship. If we're offering transportation for cheaper, why would you use the more expensive option when times are really tough? Right. It's
yeah. No, for sure.
Self-explanatory.
Okay. And then, but your pipeline, it's a 36-month project, so we're looking at, same time, end of 25, right?
Yes. 2026 actually, because we can only start once the funding rolls in, and that's about 90 days. So we are currently putting in place late Q1, early Q2 2023. So add 3 years to that.
Yep. Got it. Okay. We have an interesting question here. Okay.
Bring it on.
What's more important to you, being immortalized for doing something significant and good, or making money?
Definitely the first. Money will come later. If you do something worthwhile, the money, it will naturally come, and that's why we're after being, in a sense, immortalized. It's a bigger word than I'd like to use. I just want to be a part of history. Yeah.
Good. All right. Another question. The benefits you were talking about for taking advantage of the whitelist mint, is that tied to the person minting or the NFT?
I'm sorry, say that again.
The benefits you're talking about for taking advantage of whitelist mint, is that tied to the person minting or the NFT?
It's at that point, if you're still the same person that's holding the NFT. Yeah.
Okay. And let's see. Okay. Another question. I already minted one OTC whitelist NFT. So if I decided to mint another and it's during the public mint, does that make any difference?
The first one will let you get access to the money first. The second one will just be with the rest of everybody else.
Okay. And we have Gadi. What security measure do you have for the pipeline?
The pipeline, well, there's going to be security in place. There's going to be approximately 600 operating staff that will monitor and operate the pipeline. Generally, these things, because it's a long route, it's going to be probably like a helicopter that does inspecting rounds.
Okay. Yeah, I know that like some people mention it's a dangerous region.
Not so much. This was like many years ago. It was a little rougher, but no, not anymore.
Okay. Any I'm gonna throw a wild question there at
Sure.
you, but I don't want to get political too much or whatever, but we know, kind of like the tension in the area
Yes.
between, Russia and Europe. And so,
Yep.
it's a pipeline that doesn't go obviously through Russia. It seems
Mhm.
like even your second and a third. Do you see any risk of like this being, again, competitive danger for them? And then,
Yes. Honestly, one of the options we are preparing for is if we build this, there's a very good chance they will try it and like Russia will try and buy the pipeline.
hmm,
Yes, that will be a decision if that day comes.
yeah, okay,
Because negotiation power might not be very strong. It really is going to depend what the area of that world's going to look like. But it's already written in law. We can't change it unless something completely awful happens. Like I don't even know what the extent it would take, but it would be a very deep extent.
yeah, got it. Okay. So I have also received some questions from people that say, potentially this project is not very environmentally friendly. So what would you have to say about this?
The A pipeline is more environmentally friendly than giant ships going back and forth every day. Also, let alone the spills associated. Like a spill can be contained very fast with a pipeline because there's actual monitors in place. Excuse me, monitors in place happening all the time. Where if a ship, there's bad weather, you collide with another ship, and then there's a giant spill. Not only are we increasing congestion, which means the ships are idling the entire time, there's also a spill to clean up. That's going to take forever. Where a pipeline, it's much faster to take care of things.
Yep. Okay. And I mean, I'm assuming the route has been predetermined already, right? Or is it going to be part of due diligence to finalize exactly what's going to pass and which population is going to move?
Um, what do you mean?
Like, has the route been determined also of the
Yes.
pipeline?
So it
Okay.
is very. It's almost the final route. What it depends on is the environmental and social study. Like I said, it's just to make sure there's no endangered species. There's nothing new, and the reason it takes 12 months is it has to go through the four seasons to basically account for any type of animal, any type of I don't know bird, tree, anything really natural or biological at that point, geological as well. Um, you know, things might living things migrate, and we just want to make sure we're not impacting that. Worst case scenario, it changes by a few kilometers, and that's why we say approximately 815.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Other question I have for you: are you allowed and the team members of AMBO to participate in the NFT raise?
I mean, yes, but we might as well just put our money directly into the company, and that's what we're doing. So we have our collateral is basically everything we can put into the company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think, yeah, we talked about how to, you mentioned if the project didn't materialize. So if the project was canceled, can you remind us what will happen to the NFTs and the
The
rewards?
You'll be able to exchange it back for your proportional money that's left. So we're going to pay for the legal fees. We're going to pay for the due diligence. If things don't pan out and it's complete stop, we will bring the money back on chain, and then people will be able to trade their NFT back in for, let's say there's 90% of the funds left, you'll be able to trade it in and get 90% of what you paid back.
Okay. And just to clarify for people, you know, the money or the rewards, I should say, an AMBO token is during the construction of the pipeline. So
Yes.
the liquidity is coming from part of the loan as
Yes.
over budget. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about. We have like 15 minutes left. How do you plan to market this project? Like because in the short period of time that you opened the NFT raise.
So majority of our marketing was actually person to person, and it was dealing with big communities that actually have a financial impact on the blockchain side. In terms of off-chain side, we don't need to market our pipeline because our CEO he's been in the oil industry for 58 years. He used to work for BP as an executive. Like these are the type of clients we're working with because William and Ted have been in the industry for so long. Like they've worked with all the big companies. They know exactly who to go and speak with.
Yep, and we have some of the team members that are on
And then you
LinkedIn.
have and then also an additional verification that was done by Analysis on Chain. They had independently reached out to Bill. They got his phone number and they talked to him about what we're doing on the blockchain side. And him and Ted, well, he had Ted confirm that we are legitimately doing this, and it's not a random person on the internet that's pretending to be AMBO.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And okay, we have another question. Is there any protocols in place if by chance there are environmentalists try to disrupt the pipeline construction?
Not that I know of, because it's already been written into law. Those groups would have needed to intervene before it was written into law.
Yeah. Okay. Is there, so, I'm on the website there, but like after you closes this raise with NFTs, is there going to be some sort of like dashboards that's going to show the liquidity in live? Also, that's how you're going to communicate the performance of the project, the timeline, like everything, like how to communicate to the team that everything is going as expected.
Well, that's why our community is going to remain open, and we're going to keep building partnerships, is to make sure that people know how the project is going. And also our DApp dashboard will show you exactly like how many tokens you're earning. And then after that, the private marketplace will show you the liquidity available.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you plan to tell also the team or the people that are in this project, like when a new inflow of liquidity will come?
Yes.
Like you mentioned?
Yeah. There will be, obviously, actually in either scenario, whether we have liquidity or we just ran out of liquidity and we just injected some more, we're going to make an announcement on it anyways. And then it will be set days. So let's say every Monday we'll inject liquidity just so people know.
Okay, cool. Okay. Yep, there's a question here. Have you thought about partnering with truth seekers since they have a huge influence in the DeFi space?
Truth seekers. We've spoke with a lot of projects that do something like that. It's still up in the air. I can't say yes or no. But in terms of, would you look at it as security? Because in terms of security, if you go onto the blockchain tab.
Yep.
So under the blockchain tab, if you go a little bit, if you scroll down some more, the ERC 721S. So we wanted to come into the space and not only try to do something new, we wanted to do it with a technological league of its own. And what we're doing with that is the reason why InsureFi is a part of the backend is they're producing a first of its kind NFT security level. And for that is, if you're doing a wallet to wallet transfer, generally that's how hacks, drains, exploits happen. Those particular transactions will be pending for longer than usual, and it will just be on the AMBO side to make sure you're not getting drained. We have a team for that. They'll be taking care of it. And then shortly after, we have two-factor authentication transactions. We've tested them. They're working. We're almost ready to deploy it. What that will do for you is you don't have to wait for somebody to verify the pending transaction. You will be able to connect your Google Authenticator, your Authy app to it, and When you try to do a transfer, it's going to ask you for the 2FA. You input whatever code you have, and then it will execute the transfer. Now, that is a first of its kind. Nobody has done it. Nobody has come close to it. And if they've tried, there are no functioning test products on the market right now, let alone full production. We are getting ready for full production. These are the excuse me. These are the level of security that we are coming into the market with.
Yeah.
Insurify will launch in December. Might be a little bit later, but we picked it up because we work with the people on the back end. And full disclaimer, I am also part of Insurify. I was one of the people that started it back in March. And basically, we've put work into Insurify and AMBO for 8 months now, basically with zero compensation because we believe in the projects that we're doing.
Yep. Got it. Okay. And then we have a question about the NFT 2FA.
Yes.
Right? What is the security for the NFT 2FA? So the NFT.
Yes, that's correct. You can literally give out your private key and your entire wallet will get drained, but the AMBO NFT will still be in your wallet because they don't have your 2FA.
Yep.
That's the level of security we're going for. And on that end, there's a lot of partnerships happening that are focused on blockchain security, really, because the transaction itself is super secure, right? That's what makes blockchain so attractive. However, the security of your assets is an entirely different branch, and that's what we're focusing on. And that's why the AMBO NFT is so important for the space.
Yep. No, thanks. And I think Truth Seekers, it was, I guess if you can give address to the contract or the wallet, and then there's like easy access for people to see the transaction in and out and see if there's not something shady. And then it's with this team.
Our treasury address is a multi-sig under Genosis Safe. I'm not sure if that's how you say them, but GNOSIS. They're actually called Safe now. So our treasury is a multi-sig through Safe, and the treasury address is clearly written in our official links and our announcement channel. And that's the only address we interact with people through.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. A couple of last questions, and then you have the hook, Al-Qasim.
Yes.
We'll let you focus on building this pipeline for us. But
what
are you most excited about with this project?
Honestly, proving that a young person has the capability to be in the oil industry. Because generally, okay, we're going to get very stereotypical here, but in order for you to be in the oil industry, you tend to need to be an old white dude. Right? And it's time. I can't say it's time for a change because obviously oil is old money and it requires connections that are built over a lifetime. However, just like the blockchain, it is time to get, a little bit more open with everything. That's what I'm excited for. I'm excited to, I got a chip on my shoulder, and that's what I'm driving right to the hoop with.
Democratize access to this kind of product.
Yeah, I mean, at least try. There's no loss in trying, right?
Yep. You miss 100% of the shot you don't take, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And so what is the best way for people to learn about this project?
There's a lot of documents on our website that you could read, really get a good overview of the project, but there's also a ton of third-party sources that talk about AMBO as a pipeline and the problems it solves, and also a lot of, what do you call it? Sorry, there's so many questions coming in from our Discord. I'm trying to read and answer at the same time. Basically just you can go through even third-party sources if you have some form of, like, you want an unbiased opinion kind of thing and not an answer that's coming directly from me or Justin or somebody from the team. You can do your own research. You can go Wikipedia, you can go through like Energy Charter. So Energy Charter is like directly from Bulgaria, I believe, which also talks about all the things that were proposed and why AMBO pipeline was the one that was put into legislation and not the other proposals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. And all right, so just let's remind everybody if they want to participate in this raise. Do you mind stating the dates again that we have to play with?
So I just want to make sure you know, remind anybody that's watching is if you hop over now, say you're from the passive income AMA, we'll get you a whitelist. And remember, you need to exercise your whitelist in order for you to be a whitelist. Because if you don't exercise it, then that role is really not doing anything. So yeah.
Yeah, and then all right. Then public sale is the 21st, isn't it? In 2 days.
Yes. So the public mint will be 3 p.m. Eastern on Monday, which is 8 p.m. UTC.
Yep.
Everything up until then, we're doing over the counter. I am manually doing the NFTs one by one. So it will take some time, but we're doing it on a transaction level. So if you're the first transaction, you get allocated the first one. You're the second, you get allocated the second, and so on. The public sale won't matter too much because it's a first come, first serve. You buy the NFT, it gets minted, you own it at that point.
Okay, and what is the deadline when you close all this mint?
The entire mint will be closed on the 31st of November. We have, again, no supply cap, but it is, if you participate, you will get one. If you don't participate, you'll have to buy one through a marketplace or through somebody else.
Okay. Cool. Any final words that you want to say to the people?
If you really want big businesses to start coming onto the blockchain, here's a proof of concept for you to really basically put your money where your mouth is. That's what we're doing. We're putting everything that we have on the line for this, and we are hoping it will go somewhat smoothly, because if it goes somewhat smoothly, then we are successful. If it goes very smoothly, then that's I don't think anybody can ask for something that to go so perfectly. We're prepared for the challenges, and that's why we're here.
Really cool. And really cool also to have an NFT that some sort has an impact on a physical project that's gonna hopefully make things better for the world. So that's very interesting. All right. Well, thank you so much, Akasim, for your time, for answering all the questions. Pleasure to have you there.
You too. Thanks a lot.
And for everybody online, just hop on the Discord, go on the website. There's a lot of documents, and we'll see you around for the mint. And you have until November 30th, is what we were told.
31st.
31st? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, there's no November 31st. Maybe it's a magical day.
Oh. My calendar was messing with me. Okay, it's supposed to be the 30th then, because we were looking at the 5th, but the way we're working with our lender is we're putting everything up for the 1st. So, it is the 30th. I apologize.
The magical day of November 31st. Only on the blockchain.
Day. Yes. It's like February 31st.
Exactly, yeah. All right, thank you everybody for watching, and
thank you very much.
Have a good day. Thanks, Akasim, again.
Take care. Thanks a lot, John.